So that's me, right? And here we are, folks. We are almost 1 year. It's almost a year. It's 10 months since we've been fired. You know, we started this organization called Educators for Freedom, pushing back against the mandates. And you know, I'm proud to say that we're still here, and I'm proud to see that people are still coming out to these rallies, because what we don't understand is that it only takes a small minority of.
All right. What's
All
going on,
right, we live.
everyone? We live. Creative
We
Collection
here.
in the building.
How y'all
Yeah,
feeling?
I'm feeling good. You?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Good energy.
We all feeling great. We feeling blessed. We seeing God do amazing things.
No
We got
doubt.
special guests today, Educators for Freedom, Moe Olivier. And
Yeah.
again, shout out to our developer, our administrator, Tyree developer. Shout out to
Salute.
all the sponsors. Shout out
Salute.
to everyone who is in the fight, in the know. We are grateful for everybody here in the room.
So this is Creative Collection, and what we do here is we speak on things that can make the world better. We get in detail with it, and we get in a place where it's open floor, judgment-free zone, and everybody just really just chops it up, and we all learn every time we speak.
No doubt. That sounds good.
Yeah. So Squeaky, you wanna start it out by before we get the little introduction going and everything that you wanna shout these sponsors out.
Oh yeah, I want to shout out our moderators, Lady B, Boss Lady in the room as well, Nuestra Salute, and Pharmacy for Life. You check those out. You can check them out on Instagram. I have promo codes to Nuestra Salute, which is the herbs, all your natural herbs, your teas, your detoxes. Check that out and get into it. Yeah.
That's dope. That's really dope.
Yeah, man. We want to make sure that we got a support system for the change that's going on out here, and we giving people the early seeds on that change and hoping people take action. And it's plenty of action for us to take ourselves to make some of these changes to create independence amongst each other, as the people.
I like that name, Nuestra Salud. And
Uh,
that's Spanish for our health. So
Yes, they are dope.
we definitely need to take charge of our own health in these days and stop trusting the other powers that be to give us the remedies. Really only give us more problems.
right.
Right. Yeah. And they from Peru, so shout outs to them. They got the original Amazonian, herbs.
That's what's up.
So they are dope. The promo code for them is SQCLNS, and you can get free shipping on everything you order, courtesy of Squeaky Gems, Squeaky Clean Juices and Gems. Yes.
All right. So we in here, and before we get started, we want to make sure that you get the proper floor to introduce yourself. I see that you do some great things. I was actually there in Manhattan when you had your speech and you spoke and everything like that, and I felt like you was well spoken. You had a very structured conversation and just a very powerful voice when you spoke and everything like that. When I listened, I was just like, yeah, he's somebody that really has just a lot to say, a lot to do, and he wants to build something. You could tell he just got a lot going on. So with that said, you got to introduce yourself because of that.
Assume you talking about me.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, appreciate that.
yes, yes. I'm
My
talking about
name is
you.
Mo. Mo Oliver. Actually, I like to give my whole name. My mom, she gave me the name Mawuli Oliveri. Mawuli, I say Mawuli Bade Oliveri, which means Mawuli means there's a God. Mawuli Bade means God will provide. And Oliveri is my slave master's name. Right. So that said, I am a teacher, though I was working with the Department of Education for 23 years in the middle school setting. As a result of the COVID pandemic and the mandates that came down, I was initially put on a forced leave of absence without pay and later fired sometime in April. And we started this organization to push back against, secular encroachment, the whole vaccine push, especially against those of us who have convictions against putting vaccines in our body. We started an organization called Educators for Freedom. The website is educatorsforfreedom.com. We still young. We still learning the whole non-profit game and really learning how to get our voices out there, how to push the needle for truth. You know what I'm saying? Um, and yeah, I do a lot of different things. Uh, you know, Being loud is one of them. I'm loud for truth. I'm an advocate for truth. I don't really I'm not a political leader at all. I don't believe in the politics. I think the politics is just another arm of corporations trying to wield their will on the people's consciousness. But I will entertain political speakers, political pundits. If they got something to say, if they want to share with the people that's along the lines of truth, I'm willing to hear them. I do a lot of different things, man. I'm not even sure what to go into at this point. It's really about sharing truth to the world, speaking truth to power, and just really speaking truth to the people. You know, we are sovereign, though we don't know it, and it's biblical, and it's evident in what the Constitution is written. They have been lying to us about our power for a very long time. This whole COVID crisis is a season for us to wake up, band together, find your tribe. Let's change humanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Solid, very solid.
right, exactly. I just like when people get up and decide to, do something proactive like that. And I noticed you said something about politics and stuff like that, and you like to say you don't really believe in politics, but at the same time, you still got a certain understanding for politics, and you may, just because it's about politics doesn't mean that a person that's pursuing a political career, doesn't mean that they are a part of all of the things that are already in place. You know what I'm saying? There's some good
Right.
people that's trying to do some political things. It's just, it's a challenging topic, but nonetheless, if you have respect for somebody that enters a political field, they may be new, even though they had took years for them to get there. That doesn't mean they're not a genuine person. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, ideally, we all have our different calling, our respective callings, and I feel like sometimes ourselves get caught in the way, allowing movement to happen, allowing things to take place. So, because I have a certain perspective about the political atmosphere, doesn't mean that my perspective overrules what your calling is. There's some people out here, you're called to take that political platform and run for office and do things, based on truth. I mean, I'm not trying to block that, is what I'm saying. I know that the status quo, the system as it is right now, is designed to keep people in the dark. I know that God speaks through humans. I'm saying, and in no way am I going to say, well, oh, you a political leader, you are a senator, or you are running for governor. Your platform is not based on truth because you are just trying to feed the system. There's so many mysteries of the Most High God. I'm not going to step in the way and try to say that I got it all. I got all the answers. I don't. I try to be I guess, a voice to people about just seeking whatever is truth.
Yeah, that's dope. That is dope. So basically, no judgment. You just allow things to be. You allow God to work,
Definitely.
because we all have an understanding like, oh, okay, only the wicked powers are in charge right now, when really it's good and evil in the system
I mean,
altogether. So
I like to say God and evil in the system
nice.
because good is not good unless it's righteous.
Right.
I would like to say that it's so good to listen to, these conversations and just people speak on how they feel nowadays, because the frequency is raising up so much higher that it's just starting to feel so much better, because I feel like we're getting wiser and wiser. The more and more I hear somebody that's smart, intelligent, has gifts and has, the hand of God on them and all these things, when they still find a way to fix their mouth to say,
Mm.
I don't know it all. Because this is the conversation that's going to give us enough embracing amongst each other to get somewhere, and knowing I don't know it all, but I do know some things. You might know something better than me. He might know something better than me. Let's put that together now, because it's a judgment free zone. I'm just glad to hear, that frequency is starting to get stuck there. And then once it really fully hits, because it's gonna hit people like just didn't know it hit them, man.
Sure. I mean, and there's so much to learn, especially understanding that, this struggle of God and evil has been going on for a very long time. We new kids on the block, I like to say. You know what I'm saying? We new kids trying to find out and trying to engage and be a part of truth movement. There's so much things to unpack. There's so many mysteries of God to unpack. We won't in our lifetime uncover it all. So to speak, the world has had a head start in clouding way, making things murky for us to not really understand. So think we understand it, based on tradition, based on, what we've been taught, based on those who have access to information, based on the gatekeepers of information, based on media. We think we understand and we think we learn, but we don't. There's so much that have to unlearn, I'm saying, to, really to get to some aspects of the truth. And even when you know, I'm not sure who said it, but somebody talked about the frequency that we're on right now, and I'm like, that was just a frequency for a very long time was just a word that I apply to the radio station. What frequency that station is on, not really realizing that our bodies are capable of tapping into frequencies. I'm now starting to understand that and how important frequencies are into maintaining yourself and even understanding what's happening in this world. There's so much going on. There's so much new technology that's so involved with frequency. Realizing that, wow, it's important for us to learn to raise the frequency that we're playing on. You know what I'm saying? The frequency that we're trying to survive on, because powers that be actually tapping into the lower frequency and are preying on the fact that maintain a lower frequency. I'm saying because, and it's my novice opinion, that lower the frequency, more tapped into their system, the more controllable you are. It's amazing and scary at the same times because you don't know how much they already know about frequency. Example, if I could just share, I read something new to me. I read this article called Nano Sensor Modeling for Intrabody Nano Networks, right? Which goes into this idea that inside of your body, there are these nano sensors that are in your body, which is, I don't know if you guys are aware of this concept of bridging the gap between human body and technology. We're in a phase where they are now being able to connect the two, connect your technology with your physical body. You know what I'm saying? And there are these nano sensors that are really, really tiny, really, really small. And in fact, there's the article that I'm referring to. I want to give you the date. This was written February 2021. It was published February 2021. It goes into the fact that they know now how to put these little nano sensors inside of the human body. And some of the challenges that they're having right now is to power these nano sensors so that way that they can work wirelessly. So the difficulty is charging them wirelessly. And what they're saying, just talking about frequencies, that these nano sensors operate on a very, very low frequency. And I believe Hertz was somewhere around 0.001 to 1.5, right? And I think the frequency range goes from like all the way up to, and I could be wrong on this one, all the way up to 10. But the part that I'm stressing is that these nano sensors don't work on higher frequencies. And this is just me making assumptions. I'm just putting two and two together to come to this understanding. I could be very wrong, but here's where I am with it right now. Those of us who are operating on lower frequencies are providing space for things like nano sensors to operate in our body. And I believe that we may try to escape these nano sensors, but when you have things like chemtrails being sprayed in the air, you have, and for example, this technology has been around since somewhere around 1959. So this is not new. It's still being developed, but the learning of it didn't just begin. So what I'm saying is that they are now trying to perfect this technology to get it to the point where they could send information from one place to the other remotely, from one body to the other. Your health information can be transferred using these nanosensors from one place or one body to a database, right? In order for that to happen, these nanosensors need to operate on a very low frequency. So my common sense is saying, well, look, I'm operating on a higher frequency. That means these nanosensors become dormant and can't do what they're designed to do in my body. For me, I'm now figuring like it's important for us to start really trying to raise the frequency that we operate on, because this new technology, it's preying on those of us that are really existing and operating on a very low frequency. But there's more for me to learn on that. That's just something that I read that I thought was quite interesting. And folks need to be aware that this is actually out there. This is real science that people are talking about that's not being published, you know? So, are you guys still there?
Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah,
give.
what's
Oh
going
yeah,
on?
we were just blown away.
Now, I like to give a second before I say something, just in case somebody wants to say something. But
Yeah, I was trying to rush the unmute button. Mo, how you doing? It's Royalty Moreau. I just had a quick question. I wanted to ask you, how did you increase your knowledge and your relationship with the Most High? Because you come across very knowledgeable.
Oh, that's a process. I'm not even going to front like I'm there. Every day is a struggle. Every day is a battle. But some of the tools that I use, how to center myself. One, of course, reading the word. What I've been engaging in a lot these days, and, falling off every now and again, is meditating, staying quiet. So they used to say, there used to be these commercials growing up that used to say, if you have a ringing in your ear, you have this thing called tinnitus. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It's like a ringing in your ear. It's very quiet, and it's like a little for a very long time as a kid. I'm like, yo, I wonder if I got tinnitus. And I learned, like, you know what? Pay attention to that ringing in your ear. Be quiet, listen to it, and just be still. And there's a book called, I think it's called The Master's Secrets, I believe, and I might be wrong on that, but what it does is it teaches you how to meditate, how to be still, how to just listen to the inner voice. And I would do that 15 minutes a day to get to 20 minutes a day, just to be quiet and just listen and focus on that ringing in my ear. And whatever comes to my mind, just think about it and just be still for that moment. And try to do it for as long as you can, just to quiet everything out. I'm still trying to master that. I haven't arrived at it, but that's just one of the things that I do. I also try to fast periodically. I think fasting is very important. Reducing the body's, taking away, however you can fast. And I know some people find it difficult to fast, but I think if you can fast, it also reduces your body and it gives your spirit, man, power over the body. It's also good for your health. And I just try to meditate on God a lot. For me, I do believe that sometimes God just pours some of these revelations into my spirit, and I often don't know where it comes from. But sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong too, though. And yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but those are some of the few things I do. Of course, praying as well, and those things. Praying is very important. So praying and meditating, you know what I'm saying? Just allowing that spirit to just take you over. And another thing I say, back in the days, I was my young 20s. I prayed to God. I said, God, I don't pray for nothing but wisdom. God provide. My middle name is Moe Olivier, and God provides. So
Salute. That was solid. Do you believe that the ringing in your ear, do you believe like those are like messages from like God or angels? And also the meditation, right? Like have you ever heard of like people saying, stay away from yoga, you can accidentally open up your third eye and enter another dimension or get attacked by spirits, etc.?
I mean, I hear people say that, but everything in this created world was created by the Most High God. Everything in this created world, God's creation. So,
Facts.
To me, God's enemy is he's not the author of nothing. He's the author of nothing. He created nothing. So when people say things like, don't do that because that's evil, look, I'm like, you can't tell me that because God didn't give me a spirit of fear. To say don't do that because that's evil is telling me don't do that because I'm afraid of it. God didn't give me a spirit of fear. He gave me a spirit of love, joy, and a sound mind. Some things you just got to believe in the core of your heart. So if you're called to it, go for it. Don't do it and I think that's where the perversion comes, is if you are following behind people are doing it, and you want to do it to look like them, or you want to do it to get the accolades that they're getting. I feel like that's where we lose ourselves because there's no purity in that. If you're called to it, if yoga is something that you're called to, because I believe that there are a lot of healing aspects in yoga as well. You know what I mean? Things you can do, some yoga poses you can do to alleviate pain. All of these things are God's creation. So,
Yeah, that's exactly why I want to do it, because I got into a bad car accident about 5-6 months ago. So I think yoga is something that could definitely help me bounce back. I just started hearing like the spiritual negative aspects of it, so kind of like I have my concerns basically.
yeah, I mean, look, God didn't give you a spirit of fear. I'm saying, and also, you should pay attention. Like if you're doing these, if your heart is sincere and your mind is, your spirit is pure. And one of the things that I pay attention to is when I hear people talk to me, or I hear things, not just people, but information being revealed to me more than once. I pay attention to that. I don't think that's accident. I think things are being revealed to you more than once, the spirit is talking to you. You know what I'm saying? You need
Right,
to listen to
kind
that.
of like when you start seeing like you keep seeing like the same numbers like every day or like all week or something like that.
For sure, for sure. Like I'm glad you mentioned that. Like numbers is real for me because the birth of my daughter, number 23 has been showing up all over since my daughter was born August 23rd, 2011. And it's simple things like her first birthday, just to make it sure, her first birthday was August 23rd, and I was doing some work in front of the house. I was trying to prepare for her birthday party, and we bought these bricks to put down in the front yard, and the pallet of bricks came and it said August 23rd on it. And I was like, wow, that's coincident that we're trying to prepare for this date. We had actually missed her birthday, so it was a late birthday party. It was sometime in September, but the brick said August 23rd. Then some of my closest friends was born August 23rd. Then her aunt was in November 23rd. And then her aunt's friend was May 23rd. And then my brother who passed away, he's April 23rd. Then so all of these people started showing up with the numbers 23 in my life, and then I'm just watching everything going on, watching all the signs, and I'm a teacher with the Department of Education. I told you for 23 years. How ironically is it that on the 23rd year of my employment with the Department of Education, I'm on this unpaid leave, right? Then doing so, my mom's passed away a while ago, but then come to find out that when she had me, she was moving into her 23rd year life. You get what I'm saying? So the number 23 follows me. So now it's something that I pay very close attention to because this number has been reoccurring time and time again. In fact, we're moving into 2023. In 2023 would make it 25 years that I'll be with the Department of Education, which would then put me at retirement, the number of years of service for retirement. You get what I'm saying? So the number 23 shows up all the time. It's a reoccurring number. It shows up in different places. So these are the things that when I say things like pay attention to repetition, the spirit will speak to you in signs and confirmations. You know what I mean? And these are some of the things that I'm seeing in my life that I feel like is important to focus on because those are the messages that shows you the path that you're supposed to walk.
Facts, salute. That was amazing. I understand what you're saying completely for sure.
Dope.
Yeah, man, that's deep. Great introduction, brother. I feel like the spiritual advice you gave was great. With the fasting and things of that nature, because yes, those things show so much resilience and patience and discipline when you're doing that. You just get to a higher place when you start doing those things. So that's definitely important to do.
No doubt.
I also wanted to say about the yoga is that I feel like nowadays I just feel like some people are just, I don't know what's really going on with them or what's their mindset, but I feel like we kind of forget that, like you said, God created everything, and then we forget that most of the things that we see in this world with the low frequency that we're on is something that is, the provision is up on it. With the world's provision is up on it. So yoga, I don't really necessarily think yoga is evil if you intend on doing it to do some type of healing for yourself. I think yoga would be like evil if you're doing like a ritual or something bad, something negative along with it. I think to demonize like yoga and stuff like and meditation and stuff like that is just, I think that's overdoing it when you're not worrying about like the exact basis of why you're doing it. If you're doing it with God, then it shouldn't be an issue. But nowadays people act like, oh, you're doing some yoga, well, that means they're trying to do something evil. It don't even be like that. Sometimes people are just doing yoga because they just prayed and now they're doing yoga after that because it's just silence. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's used for healing as well because I'm going to therapy now. I have to do yoga and things like that for balance. It's to train your mind, and there's good in, like he said, God and evil to everything. So if you do evil, that's what you will use. What God has put here for positive, you would turn that into a negative. That's all. It's opposite.
Yeah, man. And the thing is, the world's objective, again, if I said this already, but I'll say this like I don't think I said it, I'll say it now. We are made in the image of God. We are made in the image of God. That said, you really could visualize, just, look in the mirror. You look at that mirror, you see the image of yourself, right? You're looking at the details of you. You know what I'm saying? That's being reflected back to you. So who are we? We are the reflection of God. And if you sit and meditate on that I am the reflection of God, it's overwhelming, right? And you're so powerful, like you're so limitless. Things you can do, you can't even imagine you can do. Only way to throw you off that train of thought is to lower your frequency, to make you feel less. So it's all about telling you what you can't do. You know what I'm saying? God is able, not enable. But say I can't enables you, limits you. So me, it's can. It's how. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm making sense here, but
Making great sense.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
It's deep to me when I think about it. Every time they say, "I ain't supposed to do that," oh, you're not supposed to do that. Even when you think about Christ, and Christ was saying, they told Christ, "Oh, you can't do how you healing people on the Sabbath?" He said, "Yo, the Sabbath was made for man. Was man made for the Sabbath? Or I think law was made for man, or was the man made for the law?" Which says, truth is, was it? And you think about that. You are a man. You are the image of God. Basically telling people you'll stop limiting yourself. These things wasn't put here to limit you. These things were put here to give you guidance. Talked about if a man's cow dropped into a hole, you leave it there because it's the Sabbath? No, you'll pull it out. I mean, so stop, we need to stop this idea of, oh, you can't do that. You're not supposed to do that. Because it's disabling your power.
It's toxic. I mean, to be honest, it's toxic, man. I see because so many people sleeping on their own power and sleeping on God's power. It's just like you putting yourself in a space where you're not enabling yourself to be as great as you are, because you constantly give the world all this power to predict what you can and what you cannot do on too much. It's too much of that going on. We need to take our power back, and there's a lot of actions we can take. That's why some people sit down and just get comfortable with what's going on, because, oh, this is what I can do and that's what I can't do. No, you could do much more in reality. It's just that you keep on using an excuse of what is considered darkness, or what got turned into darkness, as a matter of fact. And then you run with that. You run with that, and then you also let a spirit of fear jump on you too in the midst of that. So those two combined, it's no good.
Or spirit of fear.
So
It's gotten so bad that we allow it to get this far. Like now we're all in different predicaments where we're fighting. We find ourselves fighting, right? And I know that, Mo, as an educator, I think you said you lost your job because of the mandates, correct?
Yep.
And they sent a letter to you stating that they will give you your job back if you if you took what they what they asked you to take. And it's just crazy to me that they would still send you some nonsense. Like, I can't believe that. Like,
it's laughable, honestly.
It is laughable because it's so corrupt that you guys are in court now for fighting for your jobs back, and this system still in all, knowing how corrupt that what they're doing to everyone, they would still send you some kind of notice stating they'll give you your job back if only you do what they say. Something that goes against everything that God, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, the only thing I could say to that is, man should not live by a job alone.
Absolutely.
That's so right.
You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, it's the same tactics, though. If you look, it's the same tactics when you go back and you look at 40 days, 40 nights of fasting that Jesus went through. And after that, they brought him to the mountain and was like, look, I could give you all of this if you just bow down. Saying it's the same thing. Look, I could give you your job back if you just bow down. I'm saying it's the same tactic.
You know what though? Here's my thing.
For
Here's where they're failing really badly right now. Every time somebody's in the courthouse and they speak, they mentioning God. Every time somebody's out there having a speech, they're mentioning God. Every time somebody's online typing up a deep, heartfelt message, they're mentioning God. Anytime somebody's walking around with confidence about this situation and combating it, they're moving with God. So now this is well aware to all the courthouse judges and all of this and stuff like that, and all the people in high places know that this is a God thing now. It's not even about no shot or none of that no more now. Now it's just about like sovereign life. Like
yeah,
and them sending that message just shows like they basically just saying like, yo, we just don't care about the God thing. Like we just they're starting to get disrespectful now at this point.
yeah, absolutely. Especially after the fact they acknowledge, they believe the sincerity of my religious belief. I mean, and I say, I like to clarify. I say the word religious belief, their system, because we know that the religion is about ritual, but our lives are really about relationship. God, you get what I'm saying? But for the
Yeah.
purpose of their system and to speak the language that they can compute, say religious beliefs, they acknowledge that, oh, we believe that you're sincere, but can you take this bow down, please? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
yeah.
All right, man. So that was like an overwhelming introduction right there.
They got a glass jaw, no gray areas, you get blackballed. What you mad for? I go into the core, better run for. I keep it a stack, but going up like the Air Force. Shout out to Kyrie, it's time to get rid of them Air Forces. Young bosses, we go for wins, and we don't fear losses. Trying to keep faith, that's why a lot of us do wear crosses. My flow is sick, I really never lost it. It's monkey see, monkey do, and I seen a million Georges, I ain't dormant. Competition clean the closet, haters hella nauseous. I done got my payback, the rest get done with karma. If you live by dishonor, that make my faith stronger. Ain't think I make it, I take it noble, we record breaking. Killer old bitter man like Jason the Freddy.